Hello, this is the Philippine New Land Trust, and you are watching Part 4, Relationships and Protections.
Hey everyone! Welcome back to our HomeSecure series. So far, we've covered the legal framework, how the program works, and finding your perfect property. Now, we need to talk about something really important. Relationships and what happens when things don't go according to plan. This part of the program is all about protection. Protecting your Filipino partner, protecting your investment, and protecting your future. We're going to cover how HomeSecure addresses the complex relationship dynamics between expats and their Filipino partners, what protections you have when disputes arise or emergencies happen, and what happens at the end of your lease term, whether it's through natural expiration, death, or abandonment. These might not be the most exciting topics, but they're absolutely crucial for understanding how HomeSecure protects everyone involved and ensuring your housing security for decades to come. Let's dive in. The hidden pressures of traditional property solutions. Alright, let's start with something most expatriates don't fully realize until it's too late. How property ownership decisions can dramatically impact your personal relationships. Traditional approaches to property ownership in the Philippines often creates unnecessary pressure, legal vulnerability, and relationship stress. Let me paint you a picture. You meet someone wonderful online or during your visit to the Philippines. The relationship is progressing beautifully, and you're both excited about a future together. But then comes a pressure to make a multi-million peso property decision that puts enormous strain on a relationship that's still developing. Do you put a 10 to 15 million peso home in the name of someone you've known for 6 months? Do you wait years to secure housing while your relationship develops? Or do you create complex legal arrangement that suggests you don't trust your partner? Then there's what I call the instant wealth dynamic. When you put a valuable property directly in your partner's name, you instantly change the power dynamics of your relationship. There's a pressure on your partner from extended family who suddenly see them as wealthy. Questions arise about whether the relationship is about love or financial security. Your partner feels stressed about managing sudden responsibility for valuable property, and you have concerns about whether your feelings are reciprocated or transactional. HomeSecure eliminates relationship pressure. How HomeSecure eliminates relationship pressure. HomeSecure removes financial pressure from dating. You can secure your dream home without requiring your partner to make any legal or financial commitments. You're not asking them to take responsibility for a multi-million peso asset while you're still getting to know each other. This allows your relationship to develop naturally without the pressure of major financial decisions. It protects both partners during relationship development. For you, your housing security doesn't depend on the success of a specific relationship. For your partner, they're not suddenly responsible for managing valuable property or dealing family pressure about newfound wealth. For the relationship itself, you can focus on compatibility and love rather than property logistics. HomeSecure also creates flexible options for committed relationships. You can add your Filipino partner to the lease agreement, giving both of you legal protection and residential rights. After marriage, you can transfer the property directly into your spouse's name if desired, essentially converting your lease back to traditional Filipino ownership. Your Filipino spouse automatically receives inheritance rights to the property upon your passing. Real-life protection scenarios. Let me give you some examples of how this protection works in practice. There's the personality change scenario. Traditional problem is when someone puts their 12 million peso home in their girlfriend's name. After dating for 8 months, but 2 years later, her personality changes dramatically and she asks them to leave her house during an argument. They have no legal recourse. With HomeSecure, your housing security never depends on your partner's personality or relationship status. Then there's the family inheritance drama scenario. Traditional problem is when someone buys land in their wife's name, but when she unexpectedly passes away, her siblings claim the property should be divided among all relatives according to Filipino inheritance law. With HomeSecure, the property remains under PNLT ownership. Throughout the lease term, and inheritance goes according to your lease designations. There's also the new landlord problem. Traditional problem is having a perfect lease arrangement with a Filipino landowner. But then they die, their son inherits the property and immediately doubles the rent. With HomeSecure, PNLT doesn't die, doesn't have a personality changes, and doesn't have financial emergencies that require rent increases. Protection from common disasters. While we design HomeSecure to prevent problems before they occur, it's important to understand what protections exist when unexpected situations arise. Unlike informal property arrangements that leave you vulnerable, HomeSecure provides multiple layers of protection. The disappearing landlord problem traditionally means you're renting from individual Filipino landowners who suddenly become unreachable, move abroad, or die unexpectedly. HomeSecure protection means PNLT is an institutional landowner designed for permanence. We don't disappear, move abroad, or die. Your lease remains valid regardless of personal changes. The family dispute problem traditionally means your Filipino partner's extended family creates conflicts about property ownership or inheritance rights. HomeSecure protection means since PNLT owns the property, family disputes cannot affect your housing security. Extended family members have no claims on the property regardless of relationship dynamics. The economic emergency problem traditionally means individual landowner facing financial crisis may need to sell property quickly or demand rent increases. HomeSecure protection means PNLT maintains dedicated reserves specifically to ensure all lease obligations can be met throughout their full terms regardless of economic conditions. Our dispute resolution process. We have a 4-level dispute resolution system. Level 1 is direct communication. Most issues can be resolved through direct communication with PNLT staff. We remain open communication channels and respond promptly to concerns. Level 2 is formal mediation. For more complex disputes, PNLT provides access to professional mediation services. This includes cultural mediation for conflicts between foreign lessee and Filipino neighbors, family mediation for disputes involving Filipino spouses or partners, and community mediation for issues with homeowner associations or local government. Level 3 is legal arbitration. If mediation cannot resolve disputes, binding arbitration provides final resolution while avoiding expensive and time-consuming court proceedings. Arbitration decisions are legally enforceable and typically much faster than traditional litigation. Level 4 is legal action. As a last resort, standard legal procedures remain available through Philippine courts, with PNLT providing legal support to protect legitimate leasing interests. Emergency and disaster protection. When natural disasters, accidents, or other events damage HomeSecure properties, you have protection if you've taken a recommendation to get homeowners insurance. Now, homeowners insurance isn't common in the Philippines yet, but PNLT strongly recommends it because of situations like this. If you have the insurance coverage, claims are managed professionally to ensure proper coverage. Temporary housing assistance may be available during major repairs. Rebuilding or relocation options are evaluated based on damage extent, and leasing rights remain protected throughout the recovery process. Without insurance, you'd be responsible for handling repairs and costs on your own. During emergencies requiring temporary evacuation, PNLT maintains emergency contact procedures for leasee's safety, coordinates with local authorities for proper emergency response, maintains property securing during evacuation periods when possible, and provides return and recovery assistance when conditions allow. What we cannot protect against. Let me be honest about limitations. PNLT cannot protect leasees from consequences of their own illegal activities, violations of lease terms, or behavior that creates legitimate community complaints. While extremely unlikely, PNLT cannot protect against government seizure for national security reasons or acts of war that affect all property owners. While insurance provides financial protection, PNLT cannot prevent natural disasters from affecting properties or temporarily displacing residents. Natural lease expiration. Understanding what happens at the end of your lease term is crucial for long-term planning and peace of mind. If you're still living in your HomeSecure property when your initial 25-year term expires, you have the option to renew for an additional 25 years, subject to Philippine law and your continued compliance with lease terms for 10% of the original purchase price adjusted for inflation. If renewable isn't possible or desired, PNLT will work with you to negotiate extended occupancy periods for orderly transition, assist with finding alternative housing if desired, facilitate transfer of the property to qualified Filipino heirs if applicable, and ensure you receive appropriate transition support. Transfer options to family members. If you're legally married to a Filipino citizen at the time of lease expiration or your passing, your spouse has automatic rights to assume the remaining lease term under the same conditions. Request transfer of the property to their ownership, receive extended transition periods to make housing decisions. The HomeSecure lease can also be transferred to qualified family members, adult children, siblings, parents, or other close relatives with demonstrable family relationships, but there are specific requirements. Family members must be identified and approved in your original lease agreement. PNLT verifies legitimate family relationships through documentation, and transfer recipients must establish and maintain actual residence in the Philippines. No absentee lessees are permitted. The prohibition on absentee lessees ensure that properties remain actively occupied homes rather than vacant investments. Filipino communities benefit from engaged residents who participate in local life. What happens upon your death? There are immediate protections. Filipino spouses, designated family members, or beneficiaries can continue living in the property during transition procedures. No immediate eviction or displacement occurs, and PNLT provides brief counseling referrals and administrative support during difficult times. The succession process includes verification of heirs and beneficiaries according to your lease designations and family relationships, assessment of transfer eligibility, including confirmation of Philippine residency commitment, property transfer processing if qualified heirs exist and desire the property, and alternative arrangement if no qualified heirs exist or can establish Philippine residence. For timeline, emergency occupancy protection is immediate. Formal succession determination takes 30 to 90 days. Residency verification takes 60 to 120 days for family members not already in the Philippines. And final resolution occurs within 1 year of death. Property abandonment scenarios. A property is considered abandoned when you leave the property unoccupied for 6 months without notice, fail to maintain property or pay required taxes and fees, violate lease terms, and fail to correct violations after notice, or formally notify PNLT of intent to abandon the lease. Our abandonment procedures include making reasonable efforts to contact you, securing and maintaining the property to prevent deterioration, pursuing legal procedures to formally recognize abandonment, and reverting the property to PNLT for alternative use. If you return before your formal abandonment procedures are completed, occupancy can be restored upon payment of any outstanding obligations and a reasonable explanation for your absence, like medical emergencies or family crisis. Alright, let's recap what we've covered about relationships and protections under HomeSecure. Relationship protections address the complex dynamics between expats and Filipino partners. HomeSecure eliminates the financial pressure of putting multi-million peso properties in partners named during early relationships, protects both partners from family drama and inheritance disputes, and provide flexible options for marriage transition and inheritance planning. Dispute resolution includes 4 levels from direct communication to legal action with professional mediation and arbitration to avoid expensive court proceedings. Emergency protections cover natural disasters, property damage, and evacuation scenarios with insurance claims, management, and temporary housing assistance. End of lease scenarios are clearly defined whether through natural expiration, death, or abandonment. Filipino spouses get automatic succession rights. Other family members can inherit with residency requirements, and all transfers are managed professionally with appropriate transition periods. So basically, HomeSecure provides institutional protection that goes far beyond what individual landowner arrangements can offer. Your housing security, relationship dynamics, and future planning are all professionally managed with clear legal protections. In our final video, we'll cover making your decision and the complete engagement process from first call to moving in. I'll see you in the next one.